Welcome to Tales and Tangents. I'm Indigo. Here you're going to find storytelling, strange mysteries, life lessons, bizarre experiences, random rabbit holes, and a little humor all in one place. There's a moment in every missing persons case where the investigators stop looking for a body and start looking for a reason. Dana Keller wasn't the type of woman who disappeared. 38 years old, a registered nurse of 11 years, a home she outright owned, a car still sitting in the driveway, and her phone on the kitchen counter. Screen cracked, battery dead, as if she'd left it behind on purpose. She walked out of her house on Tuesday morning in March, and she didn't come back. That's not the strange part. People go missing every day, tragically and horrifyingly more than, we want to think about. The strange part is actually what happened over the next 6 days. Dana lived in Millbrook, Ohio, one of those towns that looks exactly like every other town from the highway. Gas station, dollar store, a diner that's been there since 1987. The kind of place where people notice when something is off. Her neighbor, a retired teacher named Carolyn, noticed around 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening that Dana's front door was slightly open. Not swinging, just ajar. So Carolyn knocked. No answer. She pushed it open, called Dana's name, and found the house entirely normal. Dishes drying on the rack, coffee maker still warm, a half-finished crossword on the kitchen table. No sign of struggle, no note, no blood, no Dana. So Carolyn called 911. Here's the first thing that investigators found strange. Dana had taken nothing with her. No coat, and it was 38 degrees that morning. No wallet, no keys, no phone. She was either taken against her will by someone who was extremely careful, or she left because she wanted to leave everything behind, including herself. The police canvassed the neighborhood, checked security cameras at a gas station 2 blocks over, found one clear frame of Dana at 6:52 a.m., walking north, heading down, steady pace, nobody following her. Then nothing. 6 days after Dana vanished, a motel clerk in Knoxville, Tennessee, over 400 miles away, called local police to report a woman who'd been staying in room 7 for 5 days and hadn't spoken to anyone. She paid cash, checked in under the name Claire Bassett, gave a Tennessee address that turned out to be a car dealership. When police knocked on the door, the woman who answered matched Dana Keller's description exactly. Same height, same dark hair, same scar above her left eyebrow from a childhood bicycle accident, but she didn't know her name was Dana. She told officers that her name was Claire. She said she'd been traveling. She said she didn't know what they were talking about when they mentioned Ohio. She wasn't panicked. She wasn't confused in a way you'd expect from someone in a crisis. She was calm, almost like eerily calm. She looked at a photograph of her own house and said, she'd never seen it before. I don't know what that is. Investigators brought in a forensic psychologist within 48 hours. The initial assessment pointed to a dissociative episode, a rare but documented condition where extreme psychological stress causes a person to essentially become someone else. Temporarily lose access to their own identity. So you completely disassociate. But that explanation didn't survive long. So the detectives ran the name Claire Bassett through their database, and they found something that stopped their investigation cold. Claire Bassett was real. Not a random name Dana had invented. A full identity, social security numbers, driver's license, issued 7 years earlier, a credit card with a $2,000 limit, and a spotless payment history. An apartment lease in Charlotte, North Carolina, signed 4 years ago and quietly terminated 18 months before Dana disappeared. Dana Keller had been building a second life for at least 7 years. Meticulously, patiently, for reasons no one around her had any idea about. Investigators went back through Dana's finances. They found a separate bank account, small deposits, nothing suspicious, built up over years with just over $11,000 in it. The account was in the name Claire Bissett. It had never been touched. So here's the question that no one could answer. Did Dana have a breakdown and flee to her backup identity without meaning to, or did she plan to disappear? Had something gone wrong before she could fully execute it, and then there was this man. Going back through Dana's emails, her browser history, her deleted messages, investigators found a thread. Encrypted, mostly wiped, but not completely. A man had been contacting Dana for 10 years under a series of different usernames. The tone of the messages shifted over that decade from familiar to persistent to threatening. And the last messages they could recover dated 8 months before Dana vanished. He wrote, "You can change your name, you can move, I will always find the version of you that's trying to hide." His identity has never been confirmed, and the case still remains open. Dana Keller, or Claire Bassett, depending on which version of her story you're telling, is in a secure location. She's receiving treatment. She has not spoken publicly. The man who threatened her has not been found. And in room 7 of that motel in Knoxville, investigators found one more thing before they cleared the scene. Tucked under a mattress, a single photograph. Dana, age maybe 7 or 8, happy, standing in front of a house no one in the investigation team could ever identify. Some people don't disappear, they escape. The difference is whether they ever feel safe enough to stop running. Dana did her thing there. That was some excellent planning, and who knows what happened, but she was surely prepared enough so that the cops were like, okay, she's got this. She basically created her own witness protection program, and she entered herself into it. We don't know why, we don't know how, but we know she's safe. And maybe they should take a lesson from Dana in how to very quietly set up a separate life for yourself. You have people who are in different situations in life, whether it's toxic or abusive relationships, which is the most common when you need to escape, when there's domestic violence involved. And it takes some people just don't have the type of organization and coordination to do what Dana did and save up. She was saving up for years, but it's something. Some people don't have that type of coordination and they're just stuck there. But she made a plan. She saw that she was in a situation where someone was harassing her, and for some reason she didn't feel safe enough to go to authorities. Maybe that person was an authority figure. Maybe they were some type of officer of some sort. That's when a lot of people are very afraid to report these things because they know the connection that those people have. But in any case, she's safe, and she was smart about it, and she protected herself. So good for you, girl. I hope you guys like the story. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on Tales and Tangents. Peace.